Growing up in England, I was a lucky boy. I grew up in England, pretty much like a Huck Finn kind of lifestyle, barefoot on the beach. Went to school, left school as soon as I could, and as a young man, went to work for a fishing crew on a commercial fishing boat in my hometown, which is at Town of Poole in Dorset. And I worked for a couple of years for them as a part of the crew, and a few of us broke away from that and bought ourselves a mini fleet of 14-foot old-fashioned rowing boats. So every morning before first light, we'd push the boats down into the water, push them through the waves, start rowing, row to about a mile offshore and fish that way. So there was no noise other than the clunk clunk of the oars, and then you're out there for several hours. There's not a sound. The only structured learning I had was the last 2 years of my school life. So from the age of 14 to 16, I went to quite an old-fashioned school in the United Kingdom, and I had a teacher called Mr. Neem who taught perspective. I've always had a little aptitude for drawing, so I think the perspective lessons reinforced that. And then I met an art student in the United Kingdom. She set up a little design company, and I started designing for her. That opened the door to the drawing and putting things down, or putting paint down or color down onto certain media. And then I just took it further and further and further and further. There's lots of lovely little stories on the way. I played blues harmonica, and I was playing harmonica for a couple of bands in the United Kingdom, and one of the promoters was putting a tour together for a guy from Atlanta. And there was a point in my life where I was pretty much unattached and just waiting for the next thing. The blues thing opened the door. Maybe I wouldn't have come here. Serendipity or destiny. I like to think destiny. So everything is mapped out. The harmonica playing is another creative outlet. So yeah, I'm very much a problem solver. So being taught something wouldn't work for me. I know what I want to see on canvas or on paper, and I'll figure out how to do it. And then it's just a question of learning materials, learning technique, how things go, pushing everything to its limits, and see what you can get away with, can't get away with. I go to these places and I take photographs. I'm moved by what I see and what I experience. I don't need the photograph to remember what I felt, but I want to share it. I want to relive it. And I can share it and relive it by spending time on a piece of paper or on a canvas. And so all of that experience comes down to the image that I choose to paint. Yeah, the joy of painting is as much a joy of seeing. There's a serenity to what I do. It's very much a subconscious thing. If you ask me to paint, I'll paint a raging storm, but it can still be serene, and you can still feel serenity when you gaze upon it. It's a relationship with the emptiness, that sense of space. That sense of space. I'm a humble person, and I like that sensation of humility and Mother Nature, Mother Earth. People commission. They've obviously looked through my work, and there's aspects of the color of the ocean that I paint that's very familiar to them. Maybe the hue that I use for my blue skies, or the way I paint sand dunes. There's something very specific that people are looking for when they approach me. I'm just going to paint. I'm just going to paint and go through life watching people connect.